Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Welcome to today's discussion on leveraging market research in your hospital content marketing program. So the point of this workshop is for you to walk away with actionable ideas on how to meet hospital and health system decision makers where they are through listening informed content marketing. So to get there, we're going to be walking through why listening to hospitals and health systems is critical to effective and efficient revenue-focused content marketing, especially in a fast-changing healthcare environment. We're also going to go in depth on my partner firm and favorite resource for incorporating real-world insights into content marketing strategy. So first, some quick housekeeping. This is a casual event, so feel free to chat and drop networking information, your LinkedIn in the chat area to the right. If you do need to leave early and you have a question, you can drop that in the same area, and I will try to make sure that any questions you have get addressed so that when I do send out the replay, you'll actually get the answer to that question. And if any point in time you want to grab some time with me, there is a link to my calendar also in the chat area, and you can you can go ahead and book a meeting at any point in time in the conversation. But quick introduction, I am Megan Williams. I am a hospital content marketing consultant and freelance writer. I believe that great vendor content is critical to helping hospitals meet the needs of their care communities and healthcare stakeholders. I've actually been in healthcare software for 20 years and hospital content marketing for 10. I've been on content teams, including Cardinal Health, Iron Mountain, GE, and a bunch of different software vendors that are specifically in the hospital space. So, and even though I actually am a native to healthcare professionally, I actually learned B2B content marketing in the combat sports space, which is why I'm so focused on effectiveness and efficiency, but that is a story for another day. So today we are going to be covering we are going to be covering the single most common element that I've seen across effective and efficient hospital content marketing programs. And that is evidence-based listening, which is really a strong habit of listening to the needs of hospital and health system decision makers and reflecting on those findings in your content. So the main reason that's important is because the nature of hospital leader pain points have shifted in recent years. Change moves a lot faster these days. Just in the last 4 years, since COVID, we've seen the Change Healthcare breach. And recently, a lot of the concerns around AI, it's just really shifting the way that hospital and health system decision makers think about their needs and the way they engage with content. Their needs are also becoming more complex. So any tech solution that you do offer now impacts not only at the hospital level, but you also have to be considerate of impact at the health system level. You have to think long and short term, and even how their choices flow into different stakeholders in the healthcare ecosystem. And at the same time, more roles are impacted. And this has always been true, but the intensity and the implications are increasing, so that any topic you're covering in your content marketing as a vendor is going to intersect with the economic buyers in a hospital, clinical roles, revenue cycle, administrative roles. And all of this means that vendors who want to stay competitive need content marketing strategies that keep up with hospital and health system content. Now, when I say keep up, that means for a lot of vendors moving away from traditional sources of content marketing inspiration that are often internally generated and that can sometimes be detached from market realities, people who don't yet have your services. So when I say that, I'm talking about traditional vendor sources like internal subject matter experts, brand values, siloed customer experiences, and even competitor behavior to an extent, which, don't get me wrong, those are they're still very highly valuable in your program. But they should enhance your content strategy instead of being the actual foundation. Ideally, your foundation should be market needs and the voices of hospital and health system leaders themselves. And in that area, you have three main options. That's conducting research yourself, which it is resource intensive, and it can be more biased than, bring in a third party actor. I've seen a few vendors pull it off well, but it can take a lot to get off the ground. Your second option is existing surveys and reports. That's professional organizations, industry focused market research firms. And these are free or paid organizations like HFMA, CHIME, the Joint Commission, the American Hospital Association, and the kind of things you'll see published on usually sites like Becker's, specifically in the hospital space. And the third option, which is the most powerful and the one that I always recommend getting started with as early as possible, is bespoke market research, which is what we're going to dig into in a few minutes here. But first off, keep in mind that the US hospital information space is a $60 billion industry. And you want to make sure that you're listening to the entire potential of the market and not just the corner you're currently servicing. So all of this is especially pertinent for any content marketing leader who's stepping into new territory in the industry. So that's if you are already established in other industries, but you're breaking into healthcare. It's if your content marketing program is relatively new. And it's if you're more established in healthcare, you've got a good footing, but you're launching a new product or service in the hospital and health system space, and you're going to need support from content marketing. So the reason listening to your market can be so valuable is because if you get this right from the beginning, it actually flows through all the core elements of your content program. So if you get listening right, you'll be creating effective content, the kind that attracts decision makers and builds trust over the long enterprise healthcare buying cycle, which I've seen get up to 3 to 5 years, but I've heard about it getting even up to 10 years to actually convert a customer, I'm sorry. You'll have an easier time choosing the right size platforms and marketing tech that aligns with hospital-informed content strategy. That's important because in this space, it's easy to waste money on like flashy options that might not be the best fit, and change costs can be incredibly high for certain platforms. Listening early will help your systems and workflows be better enabled to use and learn from the data you collect, and data is everything in this game. It will also help enhance your provider engagement and distribution so that you're meeting hospitals and health systems where they are, and you'll be sharing at the exact watering holes that they prefer, and rather than the generic platforms that work in other spaces. And on the sales end, you'll be contributing to sales efforts that align with one-to-one relationship building and supporting that sales and marketing alignment that's so critical. And most importantly, overall, you'll have a stronger case for marketing's contribution to revenue generation at your organization. So when you do want to launch your own listening exercises, you've got a few options out on the market, and we're going to take a quick tour of the ins and outs of the best market research firm that I've run across and the one that I use as a data source in my consulting and strategy work. So let's go ahead, and we're going to be talking to Trish. So let me go ahead and get her set up. Hold on just one second. CEO and founder of market research partner Eliciting Insights. They're a healthcare market research and strategy consulting firm trusted by organizations like HFMA and vendors across the industry. Trish, thanks so much for coming today. But before we get into detail, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Oh, thanks, Megan. So as Megan said, my name is Trish Rivard. I'm with Eliciting Insights, and we are a market research and strategy consulting company. We work with healthcare technology companies. Really, the reason we started Eliciting Insights was we were product executives, and we needed good market data to know which products we should be launching, which products we should be adding feature functionality to. And what we found through the past 8 years is the entire growth function of a healthcare technology organization needs market data. So, anything from competitive intel to new content, to brand awareness are all things that health tech organizations really need insight into. And so we originally started with product and very quickly expanded into the more broader growth function, including marketing, sales, and even client services.
Right, and that's why it's such a good fit for potentially for content marketing, because it all plays into the same end goal, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So let's move to our first question. So what does your panel of hospital and health systems executive look like? So like whose experience could a vendor be tapping into if they invest in?
Have over 3,000 healthcare executives, primarily hospital executives. We do have some physician executives, and we have a strong focus on the CFO as a buyer. We do have some representation in the more clinical buyers like CNOs and CMOs, and we have a lot within finance and revenue cycle executives. That's an area we've done a lot of focus. We're also comfortable with many other areas within health systems or provider.
So how does a survey work? How many responses do we need to get an accurate picture? What does the process look like going forward?
Yeah, great question. So we built a panel because when you do cold outreach to provider executives, you really get a low response rate. And, at Eliciting Insights, what we've done is over the past 8 years, we've developed relationships with these executives as that middleman, that third party that they can provide unbiased feedback to. And then we essentially blind the data, we aggregate it and provide it back to the health tech companies with really the scale of information. So enough respondents that they could make good decisions, and also, at an aggregate level so that they can make the decisions they're looking to make while protecting the confidential information of the respondents. From a survey perspective, so typically a survey, really once you get beyond about 60 responses, the numbers don't vary very much. So depending on the level of precision, 60, 80, 100, and then if you're looking for, really tight precision, then we'd suggest going over 100, or some of our clients, depending if they're looking to create some market, trying to create some white papers and looking for statistical significance, then we'll go to 260 respondents or higher. But really, if it's really just from a market pulse standpoint, 60 to 80 will give you directionally the data that you need.
That's really good to know. So I know we've got like a ton of options in using research to create better informed and more effective content. So what are some of the kind of questions or topics or actually use cases? How can vendors use your research to create that?
Great question. So we see a lot of requests for brand awareness. So does the market know our brand, or if we've had clients that have rebranded, that's a popular one. Also, how does our brand compare to our competitors? Do our competitors have higher brand awareness than us or not? We also get a lot of requests for, really need to understand a little bit more about who's the buyer, who's the influencer in these decisions. Who should we be talking to? So that's another area of focus. Also, we have clients that need unique content. So they're looking to put together a white paper, really get some quotable stats, and it's fun too, where we can go out and ask the market, about some topics that we just haven't seen a lot of coverage on, and be able to create new and fresh content for our clients.
Awesome. Now, you also offer individual interviews with individual hospital and health system and healthcare leaders. How do those work, and how have your clients used them in the past?
Yeah, so interviews are great tool. Interviews are qualitative research where surveys would be quantitative. To study, we like to start with interviews, so we'd like to get some qualitative insight before we even go to survey. It gives us good information on what answer choices we should be offering or how to frame the questions before we create a survey. Individual interviews are extremely powerful, and they help us understand what questions we should be asking that we haven't thought to ask ourselves. So individual interviews are very powerful. I think some of the best use cases for individual interviews are if you're trying to understand your buyer persona. So how does that title really think about the challenges that your product solves for, and how much real estate is it for them? Is it top of mind? Is it one of their top 5 pain points? Or is it something that is on their radar, but not something they think about every day? I think personas and persona interviews can be very powerful in helping a vendor understand where they fit in their buyer's priorities.
Staying on that topic, what are some other ways the results can be used? So like maybe entering the healthcare market. I know you discussed product already. So what are some other options?
Yeah, no, absolutely. For vendors looking to enter the U.S. healthcare market, absolutely interviews and surveys can be very powerful. Sometimes if you have a product that you want to enter U.S. healthcare, making sure you're focusing on the right market pain points, having that right value prop, or, is there missing feature functionality that you need to focus on? So absolutely entering the U.S. healthcare market is a great recommendation, or, product market research is great for entering the healthcare market. A lot of our clients are looking for insight into how their buyers think about the world and how they make selection decisions so that they can create better content, more targeted content. We also see a lot of requests for market research around a new product. So of the 3 products I can build in 2024, which product should I be focusing on? And for my current product, am I missing any feature functionality? Is there anything that the market needs for me to have within this product that I'm not thinking about? I know from my experience in product, sometimes product organizations can be very focused on what competitors have and where they have feature functionality gaps. But it's really important to go back to the market, because sometimes your competitors are building things that the market doesn't necessarily appreciate. And there's no point in you building that when you can actually find some other feature functionality that really resonates with the market.
So true. And how long does a survey typically take?
I would say, depending on the complexity of the survey, typically it's 3 to 4 weeks. If client has a specific business deliverable and it's a more limited survey, what we call like a market pulse, that could be done in 2 to 2.5 weeks. Generally, I like to say 3 weeks. We spend the first week really working with the client, understanding what they're trying to achieve, creating the survey, testing the survey. So we go through an extensive testing process where we have some health system executives take the survey and give us feedback on the questions, just to make sure that they're written in a clear way that they can answer in the right language that makes sense with the market. And we've all taken surveys where we've seen where you think, geez, I'm not really sure. Are they asking this or are they asking that? Well, as a market research firm, that's a
Okay. If you've got any questions on how to apply what we've talked about today in your home program, again, you can grab some time on my calendar or catch me at any point in time at locutushealth.com. My email is growth@locutushealth.com. So thanks for attending. The replay will be going out shortly, and I hope all of you have a great day.